Once a couple that captivated the world through 50 Shades of Grey, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson created a cinematic phenomenon, not only because of their daring scenes, but also because of their very real chemistry. But behind the Hollywood lights, what really happened between the two? The rumors began when many close sources confirmed that Jamie and Dakota had a relationship beyond the screen, but due to pressure from the public and family, they were forced to keep it a secret. Some people in the film crew even revealed, "No one can act like that if there are no real feelings between them." Although both have denied it many times, their eyes, gestures, and the way they protect each other in interviews tell a different story. After many years, when each has their own path, fans still believe that there was a real love between them, deep, intense, and not allowed to be public. Speech balloon. There are relationships that don't need names, just a look is enough to understand. A saying that Dakota is said to have secretly shared about Jamie. Jamie Dornan finally admits the truth about Dakota Johnson. Collision. After years of silence, Jamie Dornan finally broke all the speculations with a statement that stunned Hollywood. In a special interview, when asked about Dakota Johnson, who he created the symbol of passion with in 50 Shades, Jamie paused for a long time, his eyes filled with emotion, then slowly said, "There are things I can't name, but Dakota is always the one who makes me feel the most real in this life." The short sentence, but enough to make fans explode with emotion. On social networks, millions of comments appeared in just a few hours. Jamie admitted it, "I have never forgotten Dakota. This is the sweetest confession he has ever said." A close source also revealed that Jamie and Dakota have kept in secret contact over the years, even meeting again in Europe at a movie premiere. Although they both have their own lives, the look they shared that day is still the same as the first day they met. Sparkles. Love doesn't disappear, it just waits quietly for the moment when it's brave enough to be acknowledged. Dakota Johnson burst into tears when Jamie Dornan confessed his feelings. Heartbreak. The moment Jamie Dornan confessed that Dakota is the most real thing in my life, shook the world, and the person who was most moved was Dakota Johnson. According to a source close to the film premiere in Los Angeles, when asked by reporters about Jamie's statement, Dakota was silent for a few seconds, her eyes red, her voice choked. "I didn't think you would say that. But maybe, a part of me always knew." Immediately, the image of Dakota shedding tears on the red carpet spread at a dizzying speed. The online community exploded with emotions. "She still loves him," loudly crying. "This is not acting anymore, this is real. A love that has been separated by time but never fades." The source also revealed that, after the event, Jamie quietly sent Dakota a private message, with just 3 words. "I still do, heart." No one knows exactly how Dakota responded, but witnesses said she smiled through her tears. A smile that was both painful and beautiful, like the end of a wordless story. Sparkles quote from Dakota. "There are people who pass through our lives, but stay in our hearts forever, even though we never say it." A secret night reunion between Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson after 10 years apart. Crescent moon. 10 years, a period of time that seems long enough to erase all memories. But fate chose a quiet autumn night for Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson to meet again. According to a witness in Paris, Jamie and Dakota appeared quietly at the same private party for international filmmakers. No flash, no paparazzi. Just 2 people who were deeply attached, standing opposite each other in a candlelit setting. Dakota, in a soft white silk dress, smiled slightly. Jamie approached, his voice warm but trembling. "I've always waited for this opportunity, just to say sorry and thank you," she replied, tears rolling down her face. "I've never been angry with you. It's just that we chose to stay silent, because we were both afraid of losing everything." At that moment, they hugged each other for a long time, as if the whole world stopped. A melodious song played. It was the song, "Love Me Like You Do," the song that had been associated with them. Many people at the party said that everyone looked at them, and no one could hold back their tears. After the meeting, Jamie left in silence, but Dakota put her hand on her heart, whispering something that only she could hear. Maybe we don't need to go back, because in my heart, you never left. Heart. Dizzy, that fateful moment made the entire media boil. Many people thought that this was not just a reunion, but the most beautiful final chapter of a love that could not be made public. The last letter, Jamie Dornan writes to Dakota Johnson after the fateful night in Paris love letter. A few days after their emotional meeting in Paris, Dakota Johnson received an old brown envelope with no return address, only a small handwritten note. For D, the one I never stopped thinking about. Inside was a handwritten letter from Jamie Dornan, nearly 3 pages long, with bold lines, sometimes blurred as if blurred by tears. Dakota, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I have to write it, because if I keep it inside any longer, I won't be able to breathe. I remember everything, the first look at you at the audition, your smile when the cameras stopped, and the feeling when I realized I loved you, really loved you. We chose silence, and I know why. Hollywood never allows two souls to be as free as we once dreamed. But that night in Paris, when I saw you smile in the yellow light, I know that love never died. If there is an afterlife, I want to see you again, not on set, not in front of the camera, but in a small cafe where no one knows who we are. I still love you. J. When Dakota read the last line, she burst into tears, hugging the letter to her chest. She didn't reply, no text, no call. But according to a close friend, she always carried the letter in her bag, whenever she had to go on a long shoot. Years later, in an interview, when asked about the person who changed her perspective on love, Dakota just smiled. He knows who I'm talking about. Sparkles, a love doesn't need to end, it just needs to be remembered. Sparkles. 10 years later, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson unexpectedly reunite in a new movie. Clapperboard. Time flies, it seems like all the memories have been sleeping in the pages of old letters. But fate, like a good director, always knows when to let its two main characters reappear. 10 years after the legendary Paris night, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson were invited to co-star in a new film project by director Luca Guadagnino, a film called The Last Scene, about two ex-lovers who accidentally meet again after a decade apart. When the information was announced, Hollywood exploded. The online community called it a cinematic miracle, and the press described it's not two actors playing ex-lovers, it's two souls telling their own real story. On the first day on set, Jamie walked in and saw Dakota reading the script. She looked up, their eyes met, silence for 5 seconds, but the whole crew felt a strange current running through the air. After the first scene, director Luca was moved to say, I have never seen love expressed so truly. They are not acting, they are just remembering. In a private interview, Jamie shared softly, when I look at Dakota today, I realize there are loves that never get old. They are just waiting to be written. Dakota smiled, her eyes sparkling. Maybe we are not acting, we are just reliving a memory that has never ended. Rose, The Last Scene, premiered at the Venice Film Festival and became a global phenomenon. On the red carpet, Jamie and Dakota held hands and walked in silence, but their eyes said it all. A love that transcended time, once silent and now revived more brightly than ever. Premiere night, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson burst into tears as the audience stood up and applauded. Glowing star. Venice, sunset over the golden waters. Hundreds of flashbulbs flashed as Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson walked down the red carpet at the film festival, hand in hand, quietly but powerfully. The Last Scene, their reunion story, was ready to be released to the world. The atmosphere in the auditorium seemed to hold its breath as the final scene of the film appeared. The two main characters hugging in the rain, and the final line rang out. Some loves don't need to end, they just need to be relived, even if it's just for a frame. The lights came on. Then, the entire audience stood up, applauding loudly for 8 minutes straight. Jamie bowed his head, but tears were already welling up in his eyes. Dakota took his hand, whispering, "We did it, Jamie." He replied, his voice choking. "It's not just a movie, Dakota. This is us." Both of them couldn't contain their emotions. Dakota leaned into Jamie's shoulder, and he held her tight in his arms, amid applause, flashbulbs, and hundreds of cameras capturing the real moment of two hearts that had once lost each other. The international press exploded the next morning. Jamie Dornan, Dakota Johnson, cinematic love returns, real and heartbreakingly beautiful. No one can act out longing, except them. The Venice Auditorium witnessed a miracle. The film won the Golden Heart Award for Most Emotional Moment of the Year, and Jamie Dakota were honored as symbols of timeless love.